All right, Venture Brothers fans, I have part 2 of my Comic-Con 2018 interview with Jackson Publick.
I mean, I love doing. I love probably the Monarch's the most fun. Weirdly, there's so many of these that we slip into just in conversation. Like Doc and I can talk to each other in character, whether we're writing for that character or not. So, Sergeant Hatred is kind of a go-to voice. And they all reflect certain things that you're trying to say about something. Like maybe you're uncomfortable saying something, so you say it in a character's voice, or you're saying something that you know sounds stupid, so then it's I'll say it as 24. They come up all the time. So they're all fun to do. I don't think I did any exciting new voices. No, but we got. We got Hal Lublin does some more stuff. James Adomian came in and did a couple new characters. Mark Hamill did 2 characters for us in the same episode that couldn't be more different. Yeah. I should write that down. He would. Are you kidding? He's probably calling people all the time, trying to get that to happen. So what's up with the reboot? Are we moving forward? He was trying to get a Broadway show made and stuff like that. So Hamilton was huge. You see what I mean? There's a market for this. So he would love it, and then he would have some notes, I'm sure. And I don't think we're into crossover. A long time ago, we talked about trying to cross over with Robot Chicken because we were chummy with those guys, and we're like, oh, we would love, and we have dolls now. You can use our dolls. And we never quite worked something out, but it was, that was about the most we do. I think we'd feel icky about crossover.
Well, was there?
I'll bet Doc is more anti-crossover than I am. Yeah, a long time ago I had an Endgame, and now I don't. We wrote past it already. And we just, instead, what we keep doing is getting ourselves excited about it by changing it as much as we feel like changing it every season. Not as much as Archer does, where they kind of reinvent their genre every year. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, no, we and at this point, I don't know, it would be really challenging to try to put a bow on it. Lately I've been feeling more when we decide that or the audience decides that we don't get to do this anymore, we would probably go out on more of a life goes on once the cameras are off kind of note, instead of here it is, this is the big ending. We had done a couple of seasons where we got really, tightly wound with our mythology. We had 1 million characters. I personally didn't love that it was too easy for us to bring anybody into any episode when I kind of wanted to be hey, we shouldn't keep throwing our funny supporting characters in these moments. We should try to make Hank and Dean funnier, and it was just too easy to go anywhere, and I was really glad that we did. Season 3 is probably the one where we really went, oh, it's okay to do an episode that the Ventures aren't in, or it's okay to do an episode about Billy. And I'm glad we did that because, everybody who matters to the show, anybody who's going to stick around, we have to make them count now. And resetting in New York was a way to do that. We're okay, if we want Orpheus in this show, we got to bring him in for a reason, and White and Billy, we brought them in for a reason. We definitely wanted to get a lot of our favorite people back. We just didn't want to be lazy, What's the big shake-up of season? What's going on that's going to be the overarching? The resolution of the whole Blue Morpho thing, means that what is the Monarch going to be, so that's kind of a big thing. The boys kind of on their separate paths is a continuing thing. Dr. Venture's got his friends to mess around with now, and the boys aren't really around, so he's got different things to gripe about. But the Monarch stuff is a big thing, and there's I don't know if you've seen the first couple of episodes, but we're showing them tonight. Yeah. And God help you, there's a cliffhanger in both of them. And I was just editing the third part this week because it's kind of a 3-parter that we're opening with. It's a big story that unnecessarily goes to places you never expected it to.
So how many episodes do we have to look forward to this
10.
time around? 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, good Lord. No. This 3-part arc touches on stuff from our very first 2 episodes, touches on stuff from 2 seasons ago. There are for like a longtime fan, there are like a million little callbacks to tiny little things. Weirdly, a lot of them from season 1. Yeah. I don't want to give you specifics, but there have been once or twice there have been like cliffhanger things or whatever where we then read the message boards and somebody guessed it and we went, we can't do it now. You know, with these very flawed characters, and so that's always going to be a theme. We wanted to give them a couple of wins, and we've certainly, I think, embraced like legitimate emotion over the years. Like, you know, I think early on, if we wanted something sappy, we made a joke about it being sappy instead of going, you know, I think maybe the season 3 again, or maybe even like the prom episode, we're like, oh, let's like go for this. Let's see if we can make the audience cry about this like snarky little thing.
We are invested.
2 minutes.
Yeah. So, and themes going forward this season, really, it's like, I mean, everybody's just kind of trying to find their identity. We're still kind of dealing with the fallout and the development of everybody over what happened in season 6. Like the big changes that hit in season 6, everybody's kind of falling into their places now and finding their paths. So yeah, I mean, identity is a big one, and yeah. Finding your drives, you know, like that's always been a thing with the Monarch. Like there's a purity to him just wanting to hate Dr. Venture. You know, like he's never played by the rules of all this guild bureaucracy stuff, and in a way that makes him the, you know, truest. There is one episode this season, but I knew it when I wrote it. It was part of the joke that I have to censor. There's a lot of nudity in it. So like when I get back to LA, like we're gonna spend the next 2 weeks putting black bars over like 60 shots. I mean, you know, J.G. Thirlwell keeps being our amazing composer. So, and he's done a great job as always. We don't do a ton of other music stuff. I'm actually in the middle of a problem right now because like we did a song that the legal department thinks sounds too much like an existing song. We gotta like change it, and I'm pissed because like we already delivered that episode, and the dude who sang it is in like Canada now, and so like we did the song "Street Life" from the Sharky's Machine soundtrack. Has a big presence in the first couple of episodes. Everybody works really hard trying to make this thing good, and I make their jobs harder. And yeah, I mean, I'm more of the successes stand out to me. Like there's a couple of episodes that are just like really, really good looking. I mean, the failures are like sometimes you just get animation back from overseas. It's like that's the C team, you know, and you do what you can about it, but it's the nature of this like really labor intensive process, you know, and sending it somewhere else. Probably our newest female character was Serena, you know, and she's still around. Like she and Hank are dating, and we love Kristen Milioti, who plays her so much, and she's like, I wish I could keep all of her improvisational ranting in the show, but there's no time. Like she's always hysterical. Like you just give her a little idea of like, oh, by the way, when you're reading this line, you kind of hate your bodyguard who has a crush on it, and she just tears into Rocco. Like, so she's so much fun, and she did some other voices for us. Yeah, there's a couple of new characters, not hugely prominent, but yeah, and I think she did the voices for all of them.
That's not